Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Grand Lux by Churro Marchetti. Website is usgamesinc.com on this box. Feel free to check that out if you would like to. Supportive Oracle cards. Spellcasting Oracle cards by Flavia, Barbara, and Lizbeth. They're their full spellings of their names. If you're interested, there's also websites on the back. SheWhoIsArt.com pops out to me. Feel free to freeze frame and check out any of those websites if you are interested. Okay. I haven't had any coffee, but I just have this like jolt of energy all of a sudden. So what's going on for Aquarius? I'm just like, boom, it's right there. I haven't had any coffee either. Oh, what's all right. That okay. All right. This is an interesting one. This doesn't have to be romance. This is going to be one of those. This doesn't have to be romance. But I'm going to show you right in the beginning why I'm saying that. You got this showing up in the environment. Doesn't have to be romance, I'm telling you. But you also have this showing up as like what it's all about. So it's a very important connection. It's a very heartfelt connection. Does not have to be romance. If this is a friendship, this is somebody who you truly care about and truly believe cares about you. If this is a family connection, same thing. Very unconditional love feeling. Could be a coworker. You may not know them super well, but it's just somebody you feel really good around and you feel really confident that, this is somebody I like working with and you feel like they look at you the same way. So doesn't have to be romance. I feel like I have to do that disclaimer every time. Because it's a general read. It's going to be different for everybody, right? But this is somebody coming in. Somebody coming in. And I'm looking at this one card. Could be, okay. This person coming in, again, doesn't have to be romance, but it does have a, even though I've never met this person before, I feel like I know them energy. A soul family, soul group energy. As soon as you meet this person, it's just, I feel comfortable with them. It's one of those. For some of you, this might be the first time this happened. For most of you, probably not. Just one of those people, it could be the first time this has happened. It could be where you just meet somebody and you're just like, I just feel this connection with them. I just feel like I know them. Even though I don't know them, I feel like I know them. Maybe a very foreign feeling for some of you. Maybe. Possibly. Just possibly. Because I keep getting like, I'm trying to place them. I'm like, where do I know this person from? Where do I know this person from? That might be going through your head, like, where do I know this person from? Some of you might even be telling yourself, like, they must remind me of somebody from my past. There must be something. There must be a reason I feel this way. Like, I just feel very comfortable with this person. And I feel like I keep trying to figure out why I feel so bonded with this person. That might be the first thing that kind of, like, throws you off. Because it's kind of like, why do I feel like there's just this missing piece? It's very interesting that the Ten of Pentacles and the Four of Cups are coming in, kind of like, I can't figure out why I feel so confident with this person or so comfortable. I just can't place it. Even though you're coming to a tarot reading, I keep getting that some of you might not believe that connection is a real thing. Like, you've heard other people explain it, but you don't believe that actually happens. It's something else. I think it's interesting because there's a lot of different people out there. You may be open to tarot readings, but you may be like, well, yeah, but I don't believe in multiple lives, which is completely fine. You don't have to believe everything everybody else does. And in fact, if you don't want to go down the road of soul group, that's fine, but there's a connection with this person. That's the basis of it, even though I've gone on about it for 20 days. Okay, so this person is coming into your life no matter what connection they are. The bond is starting, the bond is coming in. I don't want to just say this, so I'm just going to go with the dice. If the dice back it up, I'll go with it. Yeah, there's stress here. I feel like this person's going to be in your life for the rest of this life. They might be also fighting it, to be fair. All that I just explained about, having that feeling but not being comfortable with it or trying to dispute it, if that doesn't link up for you, it may link up for them, just to be aware of that. Maybe you're actually like, no, I get that, I'm cool with that, makes sense to me, doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah. Yes, James, please shut up, you're going on 20 years for nothing. Maybe it's more explaining about how they're feeling and less about how you're feeling, just to be fair. Because I did go on about it for a while. Blah, 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 blah. Can we get into the next? No. Somebody's going through a healing process here. So it could be you, could be them, could be both. Somebody's had a hard time of it. Somebody's had a hard time of it. Most people, they stumble through life. But when I say somebody's had a hard time of it, it feels more fresh. So if this is for you, maybe recently you've had quite the difficult time. Doesn't mean that even if you have, doesn't mean that they haven't as well. It's either one of you or both of you. It's either or. So somebody is struggling and going through the healing process. Somebody's still going through that. That being said, tread carefully with the situation, whether it's you, them, or both of you. This needs a moment, because I feel like during that healing process, like if you feel like somebody physically healing, that makes them tender. That means they can't do what they normally do. They're not ready to do what they normally do. They're not ready to go into situations as if they normally would. The healing process needs to complete before we can get out there and run again. Like if you break a leg, this is the part where you have the cast on. You're not going to be out there running. You need to not be. Maybe you can walk on it a little bit, but you still got to be more conscious of it. You got to be more tender with it if you want it to heal correctly, so you can go back to doing what you used to do, or vice versa, or if it's you, them, or both of you. Keep that in mind, because I feel like this isn't a physical healing. This is an emotional healing. You can't see the signs of it. You're not going to see that cast on the outside, So you might see some of the emotional things there, but you might, if you don't know this person that well, you may not realize that they're going through emotional things and their personality is not up to par as it normally would be. If you don't have that reference, you might have an inkling like something's a little off, but not realize what it is. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, well, as cool as it's going to be. Okay. They're going through changes. I showed you this before. This is in the environment. The Lover's card coming forward. Somebody's going through changes and getting answers. Like literally answers is there, but I'm getting like there might be a bit of a brutality with this answer thing, especially like the Strength card. I don't see it as good nor bad. It's just strength is strength, right? It's like if you have a 500-pound weight and you have the strength to pick it up, then you have the strength to pick it up. Doesn't mean it was a good thing to pick it up. Doesn't mean it was a bad thing to pick it up. You just have the strength to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that being said, I do feel like a brutality with the answers and the strength behind it. You can handle that, but it's like if you can see it for what it is, and it's like more about unearthing why this person needs that strength, why this person seems a little bit more brutal. I think the reason we're bringing it forward is because it's just like when you see the brutality of the answers that they want, it's kind of like not going on the defense about it, but kind of going on the inquisitive about it. Because if they tick you off, that's one thing. Because it's going to motivate you to be like, oh, really? That's how this is. So if they really push the button, you know what I'm saying? But if you're kind of like, all right, you're a little bit much, but you're not scaring me. I'm more interested in the why. You're like, you don't freak me out, but why are you doing that? It's kind of like a little... There might be a moment here where you kind of have a little bit of a butting of the heads. There might be a butting of the heads there, which is weird. I think because I'm a Pisces, so I'm in love with love. So I'm not saying this is a love thing, but whatever this connection is, I'd rather it not be brutal to begin with. But I feel like there might be a butting of the heads. I think I'm trying to like avoid it, but they're like, no, there probably will be a butting of the heads. It's not letting that become like a foundation, a part of the foundation. It's kind of like there's a butting of the heads, but it's like, all right, let's step back from that. Let's go back in and let's deconstruct that so that we don't have a constant disapproval of each other. Let's kind of like try to figure out like why are we butting heads? Because I do feel like this person might be a little bit overbearing or a little bit too much in the beginning. Coming back around when proper, when you feel like is the correct time to do so, obviously, will solve the issue and you'll be able to reconnect with this energy. I do feel like there will be a butting of the heads in the beginning. The trick is to come back and resolve it afterwards. Because again, this person, either one or both of you is going through some type of healing process. And that's going to change how this feels. If you're the one going through the healing process and it's not them, you might be very tender. So when somebody kind of gives you a hard time, you're feeling like you have to be on the defense anyway. You know what I mean? It could make this a lot worse. Make sure that you realize that there's going to be a butting of the heads. Coming back later and sorting out the problem when things are a little bit more healed might be more advantageous than expected. Again, we want to go on the instead of the defensive, the more inquisitive. You know what I mean? Am I missing anything from that? 9 of Cups and the Devil card reversed. That's the release of tension. Sometimes the Devil card reversed is kind of like looking at something that didn't go well, but then kind of like having this attitude of like, listen, that didn't go across right, but I think we can solve it. And kind of like, I don't need you to like me, but I want to at least sort out what happened there so that we aren't looking at each other in a negative light. So we don't need to like each other, but let's at least like sort out what was the truth there, because I feel like we both said things we shouldn't have said. If that's the attitude to going into that conversation later. Kind of like, I'm not saying what I said was wrong, I'm just saying the way it came off might have been wrong. Might have, like, we both said things we didn't need to say, let's just sort it out and just like really come to at least a conclusion where we're not, negative towards each other. We don't have to like each other, but at least understand where each other came from, that we both had good intentions. Cool? For some reason I'm like, I want to move away from it. It doesn't feel like a comfortable moment. It feels like redefining boundaries, having the strength to do stuff, and just holding on to like, well, this is what I was trying to convey. This is how it came across. Both of us kind of like sorting it out. I think this is more of that connection. For some reason, I feel like having this type of connection with somebody for either one or even possibly both of you does seem to be a little bit conflicting. Feeling that balance but not being comfortable with it really kind of throws, I feel like, either one or both of you off. It's very interesting because a lot of people look at this when you meet somebody that you have that feel with. People usually, the usual response I get is like people are really excited about it. But for whatever reason, you and whoever this person is, it's very much a conflict. For some reason, having this comfort level with somebody you don't know, either you or them or both of you, is really unsettling. And it may be one of those things where accepting that connection can be there could be hard. This reminds me of people when they're not used to having psychic experiences. Like, I'm going to say, do I want to explain clairvoyance? Because, like, for me, clairvoyance is like, it's out in front of me. It's not like it's in my mind, it's out in front of me. And sometimes it's jarring, like, oh, okay, I just lost my mind. That's great. I just saw something, and I know nobody else saw that because people would have reacted differently if they saw what I saw. So it's kind of like, okay, I believe it just kind of cracked. The nut just cracked, and I'm done. Or, that was a psychic experience, and making peace with that is sometimes hard. For some people, it is hard, especially if you're not used to it. So I do get that there's like a time where that's going to be difficult. One or both of you might not be comfortable with having that feeling. So it may be like, be careful with that subject for a while. At some point, there will be peace with that energy. It's going to take some time. The Sun card comes in with the 3 of Cups, which no matter if this is romance or not, I'm getting like this is understanding and being comfortable with the subject both ways. It's going to take some time. One or both of you might have an issue with that whole, having that connection feeling, and it's just it'll get better over time, but it may be one of those things where if you go at the subject directly, it becomes a problem. Just be aware of it. It is what it is, right? Overall, it's really good, in my opinion. I feel like they're just trying to give you a heads up on better ways to handle it so it can be more advantageous for you so you can enjoy it more. I think that's the whole point of it. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.